We are on the parquet here in Waltham, Massachusetts, Boston Celtics training facility, and I'm pleased to be joined by Celtics head coach Brad Stevens. Coach, appreciate the time. Obviously, not your typical off season. What was the summer like for you?
Yeah, it was very atypical, right? You finish playing May 26th and you take a couple of weeks break, but then you get right back to work because you're number one thinking about that draft that's coming up with the number one pick in tow, and then that becomes the number 3 pick through a trade, and that just really started a series of changes to our roster. And so it has been a unique offseason, but one in which hopefully we can adjust quickly from and start to gel with this new group.
Well, you had so many draft picks again this year, and one of the great new things about the NBA G League is the introduction of the two-way contracts, and you filled those in right away with Jabari Bird and Kadeem Allen. Could you talk a little bit about those two players and what can we expect in Maine this year?
Yeah, I mean, and I really like both those guys. I think Kadeem, with his ability to defend the ball, with his ability to read plays and make plays, I think his shot at the NBA three-point line is getting much better. Jabari is a very athletic wing who can play a number of different positions. He can play as your primary ball handler, he can play off the ball. And his ability to score the ball and make effort plays to score the ball is pretty unique. And so we're looking forward to having both those guys on two-way contracts. And I think when you're looking at that, you're looking for hungry guys that no matter what day it is or where they are on that given day are working the exact same way to get better. And I've seen that out of both those guys. I really like the two-way contracts. I think that number one is it makes it even more appealing to play in the G League, which we've seen over the last few years how much interest in the G League from players. It used to be, especially when I was coaching at Butler, a lot of our better players that weren't NBA level, automatically thought, I'm going overseas and I'm going to try to make a living. And now that's changed quite a bit, not only because of the frequency of call-ups, but because of the opportunity that leads to, the training camp invites. Now the two-way contracts just continue to enhance that.
Abdul Nader, Rookie of the Year in the NBA G League last year, terrific season offensively. What did you see in his development from last year to this offseason?
Yeah, he's a really talented wing. We thought going into last year that he could have easily been on our roster, but we thought a year in the G League would really help him. He did a great job. I think Scott did a great job with all those guys and helping kind of transition them to being a professional basketball player and to being ready for the NBA. And he's got a number of guys, not just Nader and not just Yabusele, that will be in training camps and around teams this year with a chance to make them.
You mentioned Yabusele. Gershon was the other player who got a little bit of playing time with the Red Claws at the end of the season into the playoffs. What do you see his potential to be?
Well, I think Gershon is a guy that has a world of potential because of his versatility at the 4 or the 5. He can shoot the ball. The best thing that I think he does is pass the ball. And so he's got a real feel for the game, but he's also got the lateral quickness to guard different guys. And so we think he's got a pretty big upside.
Were you the one that coined the nickname, the Dancing Bear?
No, I don't do nicknames.
No.
That was my assistant, Micah Shrewsbury. And anybody in Boston will tell you Micah's a better interview than I am.
All right, fair enough. Finally, you touched on a little bit the growth of the NBA G League. Where do you see the direction of this league headed, and why do you see this relationship between Maine and the Celtics as an important tool for you?
Yeah, I think we don't look at it as Maine and the Celtics. We look at it as the Celtics, right? And so, obviously, you have your own logo and you play in a different arena, but we look at it as one big group. And it's that important that we need everybody in Maine to be on the same page we're on offense, defense, in the locker room and everything else. Because it is someplace that we're gonna have our young guys spend a lot of time. And when they're spending time up there, we need to make sure that it is preparing them for the next time they play, not the Westchester Knicks, but the New York Knicks. And, I've felt really comfortable with that relationship, really excited about it as we move forward, and think it'll just continue to grow and grow.
All right, Coach Brad Stevens, we appreciate your time and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, Evans.